Good morning, everyone. Just let me say thank you for joining us at Salesforce Tower, Chicago. My name's Christina Midas. I am one of the local leaders here in Chicago, employee of Salesforce and longtime resident of this great city. So it is a huge honor to be here today. Where are you? Beyond an amazing building with great views, you're actually sitting at our Ohana floor. So if you're not familiar with Salesforce, part of our culture is grounded in giving back to our communities. We're founded on a 1-1-1 model, which is 1% of our equity, 1% of our time, and 1% of our product goes back into each of our communities. This floor is an example of that. No employees, no offices on this floor. This is for nonprofits, and this is for our community to take advantage so that they can have events, fundraisers, et cetera. It's just one of the ways we give back. Another way we give back is I'm proud to announce that we've given over $16 million in grants to the local community and nonprofits. In addition, our employees have donated over 270,000 hours to local nonprofits. So when we move to a city, we're all in. So it's very exciting. As a resident, I've always been a fan of Chicago. We attract great talent. We have a great infrastructure. We bring all sorts of industries here. But as Salesforce, we are proud to say we have 2,200 employees just here in Chicago specifically at this office. Now, in addition to that, back in 2018, we made a commitment to bring over 1,000 jobs to the city. We beat that commitment by a year in advance to our target. So we're here, we're committed, we love Chicago, and without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce the 43rd Governor of Illinois, Governor Pritzker.
Thank you very much, Christina. Thanks so much to Christina. Thanks to Salesforce for hosting us. What a beautiful location, and thank goodness we're reminded that what a great city we are, and also that we had a bit of snow yesterday. Even if we didn't experience it on the ground level, you could see it here on the, what are we on, the 57th floor. So anyway, terrific to be with all of you today. I'm excited to join you and the many people who are behind me today. DCEO Director Kristen Richards, BMO CEO Daryl Hackett, Metro Edge CEO Craig Huffman, Chicagoland Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Jack Lavin, Intersect Illinois Board Chairman John Atkinson, and other business leaders who have joined us. We're here to celebrate major 2023 wins for our state's economy, our businesses, and most importantly, our people. When I first took office almost 5 years ago to the day, Illinois had seen $17 billion in unpaid bills. We had gone 2 years without a budget and decades without a balanced one. Our credit ratings had seen 8 credit downgrades in the previous administration and were a single notch above junk status. Our rainy day fund was empty. Our pension funded ratio was diminishing. Our state had no discernible economic strategy, our economic development strategy. Our state had genuinely gotten out of the business of attracting business. The leader of the state was bad-mouthing Illinois at every turn, and we were losing business opportunities to other states. For job creators with expansion plans or looking for a new home, Illinois seemed nothing short of unwelcoming. Today, I'm standing here to tell you a very different story. We have paid our bills on time in Illinois today, with our bill backlog and all short-term debts eliminated. Today, our rainy day fund sits at over $2 billion, and our finances are buttressed by 5 balanced budgets and 9 credit rating upgrades in a row. Today, Illinois has a $1 trillion GDP, the 5th largest in the nation, record job growth, and historic business creation. Today, Illinois' economy is getting stronger every year, and businesses are taking note of our success. With fiscal responsibility comes opportunity to invest in the kind of incentives that bring both innovative startups and Fortune 500 companies to our state. And that's exactly what we've done. The Reimagining Energy and Vehicles in Illinois Act, REV, the Economic Development for a Growing Economy, EDGE tax credit, and the Manufacturing Illinois Chips for Real Opportunity Micro Act. Alongside members of the General Assembly, we enacted nation-leading legislation to bring us to this very moment when we get to celebrate a record year for economic development. In 2023, EDGE and REV helped us realize investments of nearly $3 billion, and new jobs created by both programs jumped 60% to more than 4,300 jobs while retaining thousands more. And that's just EDGE and REV. Couple our competitive incentives with our modernized infrastructure and world-class talent pool, and you have a state bursting at the seams with opportunity to attract large-scale, long-term investments, as evidenced by our pipeline of businesses looking at moving their operations to Illinois. Goshen's new electric vehicle battery gigafactory in Manteno, the largest manufacturing investment in decades in Illinois, and the biggest EV investment to date. Many states tried to land this one, but they chose Illinois and are bringing 2,600 new jobs and $2 billion of investment with them. Then there's Manor Polymers in Mount Vernon, Illinois, building a first-of-its-kind solar-powered PVC compounding plant using clean energy generated on-site. And Prysmian Group in DuQuoin, a $64 million expansion to manufacture cables for the renewable energy and electric vehicle sectors. And Microlink Devices in Niles, a manufacturer of state-of-the-art solar cells and solar shields. Upside Foods, the first company in the world to receive FDA approval for cultivated meat, is opening its first commercial-scale plant in Glenview. Then there are the pro-Illinois decisions that companies made. For example, Gulfstream Aerospace, a Fortune 500 company expanding in St. Clair County, Illinois, creating 200 new jobs and retaining nearly 500 others. Cobrasa is investing $250 million in a new facility in Gilman, Illinois. Flender Corporation is expanding its manufacturing facility in Elgin. Bonnell Industries expanding in Dixon. And I could go on and on. Then there are our major successes in attracting data centers, where we've struck gold. Since the passage of the bipartisan data center incentives law in 2019, Illinois has become the fourth fastest growing data center market in the world. And new investments last year alone topped $1.8 billion, up from $500 million in 2022. Prime data centers in Elk Grove Village, Metro Edge Development Partners, $257 million data center investment in Chicago. Server Farms CH1 data center, also in Chicago, and of course, Meta's new $1 billion DeKalb data center. Our small businesses are also benefiting from Advantage Illinois' program, issuing a record 145 low-interest loans totaling $35.7 million, nearly 1.5 times the number of loans issued in 2022, and the most loans issued in any given year since the program's inception in 2012. Across the board, Illinois is shattering pre-pandemic highs and making history left and right, showcasing to the world what Illinois is all about. Last year, after important investments we've made in our state's tourism efforts, we reached our highest ever hotel revenue figures at $308 million, surpassing the pre-pandemic record. And in 2022, Illinois welcomed 111 million visitors who spent $44 billion here. That's 14 million additional travelers spending $12 billion additional dollars than previously. And on the heels of the Bears Golden Globes sweep, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our thriving film and television industry. After expanding the Illinois Film Production Tax Credit in 2019 and launching the Film and TV Workforce Training Program in 2022, we hit record high film expenditures of nearly $700 million, $130 million more than pre-pandemic levels in 2019. The numbers don't lie. and momentum is on our side. 61% of Illinois' small and mid-sized business owners feel optimistic about business in the region, notably higher than the 46% that's been reported nationwide as a nationwide average. Last year, a new business relocated to or expanded in Illinois every single day. And today, we are the #1 state in the Midwest for workforce development. We are #2 in the nation for corporate investments, with Chicago clocking in as the top metro for corporate investments for the 10th year in a row. Illinois is #2 for infrastructure and education, #6 for access to capital, #9 for cost of living. We moved up a whopping 13 spots in best states for business, according to CNBC, since I took office. And we're not going to slow down until we reach #1 in every category. 5 years ago, the naysayers said Illinois couldn't get it done. Even with all the progress that we've made, there's no doubt that they will continue to spin their yarn, telling tall tales about our impending doom. No doubt we have more work to do. There's no doubt about that. And no one, especially not this administration, is saying we have overcome all of our challenges. But the truth is that we should take pride in the progress that we've made and the direction that we're going. It's clear that we've created jobs in the state. Billions of dollars of private investments have come to our state. In the fiscal and economic progress that's recognized by the national and international business communities, we should take pride in the choices that Illinois families and young people are making to move to Illinois. Here in the land of Lincoln, we think big and we intend to win big. So as we kick off 2024, Illinois is back and open for business. With that, it's my pleasure to turn it over to our great CEO director, Kristen Richards, for more comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor Pritzker, for that introduction. My name is Kristen Richards, and I am the director of the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, or DCEO. And I can't think of a better way to kick off 2024 than highlighting the momentum we have as a state. Our transportation and prime location in the middle of everything are unmatched. Our infrastructure is unparalleled. Our workforce is the very best in the Midwest and beyond. Our business prospect pipeline is deeper than ever. In 2024, our incentives are stronger than ever, and under Governor Pritzker, we are better positioned than ever before to attract large-scale investments. Illinois has truly established itself as a premier destination to locate and grow a business, and we are just getting started. Strong leadership has led to strong partnerships in every corner of Illinois, collaborating to grow our economy, create jobs, and build our clean energy industry. This includes the economic development organizations, local governments, business leaders, and higher education institutions that make up what I like to call Team Illinois. When the state of Illinois works with companies, they can expect more than a corporate pitch in a boardroom. We make a unified team effort to demonstrate Illinois hospitality and show what the great state we all call home has to offer. As Governor Pritzker laid out, 2023 was indeed a banner year. We have the leadership, we have the assets, and we have a momentum unlike anything the state of Illinois has ever seen before. And we look forward to an even more successful 2024. And with that, it's my great honor to introduce Darrell Hackett, CEO of BMO. Thank you, Darrell.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Darrell Hackett, President and CEO of BMO Bank and U.S. CEO for BMO Financial Group. I want to thank Director Richards and thank you, Governor Pritzker, for inviting me to join you this morning. BMO opened our first office right here in Chicago in 1861, about 160 years ago, a little bit before my time. But we now have over 6,000 employees working across 180 locations across Illinois. As a leader of a company with deep roots in Illinois, I'm very proud to be here celebrating a banner year for economic development in our state. BMO Bank is one of the 10 largest banks in the U.S. It is also the largest financial institution to have its U.S. headquarters based right here in Chicago. And in 2022, we opened our new BMO Tower on Canal Street, which was perhaps our most tangible expression of our commitment to this great city. Having our headquarters for our U.S. business in Chicago solidifies our place in Illinois and reaffirms our commitment to investing in the people, the communities, and the businesses that make it such a wonderful place to live and to work. We are committed to the economic development of this city and this state because we recognize that opportunity lives here. Last year, BMO Bank nearly doubled in size after acquiring Bank of the West, which was headquartered in San Francisco. And we now proudly serve more than 4 million customers across all 50 states, including physical presence across 32 states. Our growth in the U.S. has not only made us a stronger financial institution for our customers, for the folks that work with us, and for the communities, it makes us a top bank here in the Chicagoland area. And this position of strength allows us to help more families and more businesses right here in Illinois make real financial progress, which is something that is deeply important and meaningful to us as an organization. Our growth and the progress it helps us drive for others would not be possible without a vibrant business environment in which to operate at both the city and the state level. I want to thank Governor Pritzker again for their leadership to improve our state's business environment, for prioritizing economic development, and improving our state's fiscal health. Last year was historic, both for BMO and for our state. We can feel the momentum, and we are very proud to continue to make Illinois our home for many years to come. Thank you. And I'd like to thank you. And I'd now like to introduce my friend, CEO of Metro Edge, Craig Huffman.
Thank you for allowing me to participate in this event today. Thank you, Director Richards. Thank you, Governor Pritzker. It is truly an honor to be surrounded by such distinguished executives and an old friend. My name is Craig Huffman. I am the co-founder and CEO of Metro Edge Development Partners. Metro Edge is a commercial real estate firm and the developer of a data center in the Illinois Medical District on the near west side of Chicago. We're developing a state-of-the-art data center on a west side land site that sat vacant for 40 years. Our data center will help drive innovation in artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and data analysis. As of today, we're in negotiations with some of the top tech companies in the world, partnership negotiations for our data center. And while our data center will cost over $250 million, the Illinois data center tax incentives will play a significant part of our success. DCO's incentives have rejuvenated Illinois as an attractive place to do business. There's a theme here, attractive place to do business, with billions in new investment as a result of those incentives. And historically, data centers have been in communities, but not of communities. We're going to change that. And one of the things that we're going to do to help change that is through our unique social impact plan. We've designed a social impact plan that will be set to leverage our data center and others in this great state to help recruit, train, and hire underrepresented groups so we can help create a more diverse technology workforce. Thank you for allowing me to be here again. And with that, I'd like to introduce another friend, Jack Lavin.
Thank you, Craig, and it's great to be here. It's great to be here with companies like Salesforce, and thank you for hosting us in this beautiful building, BMO, Metro Edge, companies that are investing right here in Chicago and Illinois, so it's great to be here with them. My name is Jack Lavin. I'm President and CEO of the Chicagoland Chamber of Commerce. I want to thank Governor Pritzker and Director Richards for having us here today to celebrate Illinois' economic development achievements over the past year. And more importantly, I want to thank the governor for his unwavering leadership and dedication to advancing economic development opportunities across the state and doing everything he can to keep Chicago and Illinois at the vanguard of the global economy. He continues to be the most proactive governor in the nation for economic development. Let me say that again. He continues to be the most proactive governor for economic development in the nation. You heard him, you heard Director Richards, you heard all the people up here talk about all the great things that's happening here in Illinois for creating jobs. Today, we are seeing the return on the investment of his tireless efforts, and that return is especially clear in the electric vehicle space. To cite just a few examples, Lion Electric opened a new production complex, creating over 700 jobs. Goshen announced plans for an EV manufacturing facility to create over 2,600 jobs. And Stellantis reopened its auto manufacturing facility, which will create literally thousands of jobs. It's safe to say Illinois is well positioned as a leader in the electric vehicle industry for years to come. We're also continuing to make key investments that will boost quantum innovation and improve Illinois' greatest asset, our people, our talent. And our investments in the data center space have earned us the #2 spot for data centers hubs in the country and #4 in the world. And as the governor said, record TV and film production, record number of small business loans that Director Richards and DCO has put out there. The list of accomplishments can go on. And as we look to the coming year, all the pieces are in place for us to continue this momentum. Thanks to Governor Pritzker's leadership and partnership with the Illinois business community, we have a strong portfolio of economic development tools like CEJA, Rebuild Illinois, the film tax credit, the closing fund, the REV Act, an improved EDGE tax credit, and a data center tax incentive. These programs will allow us to continue to attract and retain companies while creating jobs and economic opportunities. We look forward to continuing to work with the governor, elected officials, and the Illinois business community to champion initiatives that support high-growth industries like tech and quantum, build a strong foundation upon which businesses can grow and thrive, and help bolster Illinois' strong workforce to move the state forward towards a brighter economic future. Working together, we will continue to make Illinois a great place to live, work, and do business. Thank you so much for being here today. And with that, I'd like to introduce my friend John Atkinson, Chair of the Board of Intersect Illinois.
Thank you, Governor. Appreciate your steadfast leadership on economic development, and Director Richards, my partner in crime. Thank you, Daryl and Christine and our other distinguished guests here today. As chairman of Intersect Illinois, the only statewide economic development organization focused on bringing new businesses, jobs, and investment to Illinois, and on behalf of Team Illinois, I'm happy to be here today. Team Illinois is a unique collaboration of organizations that come together to generate economic growth and jobs throughout the entire state. Our partnership includes Governor Pritzker and his team, DCEO, Intersect Illinois, and our impressive and growing board comprised of business leaders throughout Illinois, regional organizations such as GCEP and partner economic development organizations throughout the state, including the great teams at World Business Chicago and P33 right here in town. Tremendous university and community college partners throughout the state, utilities such as ComEd, Ameren, Nicor, Peoples Gas, and North Shore Gas, incredible partner organizations like IMEC and the Illinois Manufacturers Association, and industry-leading companies. Illinois is home to an unmatched business community. This is the team that is helping us build the great momentum we've seen in 2023 that's being highlighted here today. Our collaboration has led to many Team Illinois project wins this past year, such as Manor Polymers' state-of-the-art and sustainable Mount Vernon manufacturing facility, and LG Chem and ADM's joint venture to produce lactic acid in Decatur, Illinois. And the overall business climate is impressive. Our data show that 382 companies have either relocated or expanded in Illinois in 2023. We are seeing growth in all of our key industries, including advanced manufacturing, agribusiness, energy, EVs, information technology, life sciences, and transportation, distribution, and logistics. For the makers of Pop-Tarts and Pringles, to a leading vehicle battery maker, companies are choosing to be in Illinois. This is not only because Illinois now offers competitive incentives and the support of government we are hearing about today, but also because we have the assets companies need. Leading infrastructure, unmatched transportation, a world-class higher education and community college system, and an abundance of highly skilled and educated workers. We add companies and jobs. As we add companies and jobs, Illinois is jumping up on the charts and economic development rankings, from Site Selection Magazine ranking us #2 in the country for corporate expansions and relocations, to CNBC calling us the #2 state in the nation for infrastructure and education. As the governor said, momentum is on our side. In fact, just last week, a J.P. Morgan Chase survey found that a much higher percentage of Illinois businesses were optimistic about the business climate compared to businesses nationwide. Let me emphasize that. Illinois businesses are much more bullish about the business climate than businesses in the rest of the country, and by a wide margin. We are thankful for these business leaders and our engaged industry partners across the state that have invested not just monetarily, but also their time and talent into Illinois. Team Illinois makes our state unique and advances our mission to bring economic growth and jobs to Illinois. And if you're looking for a hashtag or two, working with hashtag Team Illinois to hashtag Be in Illinois says it all. Thank you very much. And now I'll ask the governor to step up and answer any questions.
Happy to take any questions from members of the media. Yep, Shia.
This is very exciting.
Good morning.
There's so much going on. Good morning.
There is.
What about that thing that hangs over the city and the state right now? So many migrants coming into town, and it's likely to increase as Governor Abbott, wants to maybe punish Democrats here in the state for having the convention here. Is there going to be a more organized effort to kind of combat everything that's going on?
Well, let's remind everybody that it is the choice, the inhumane choice of the governor of Texas and his colleagues in Texas to send thousands of people across the nation and specifically to Chicago, many of them with sandals on their feet, with no coat when they arrive, who haven't been given a meal in quite some time, and they arrive here in need. Now, nobody thinks this is a good idea, especially in December, January, and February in Chicago, to take them out of an environment in which the weather is much warmer and put them in a freezing cold environment, especially as we saw the weather yesterday. So let's just all recognize that this is being foisted upon the city of Chicago. Nobody's asked for this. This is something that the governor of Texas is doing to other cities across the nation. We are working together, the city of Chicago, the other cities across the region here, and the state of Illinois to try to manage through this humanitarian crisis, creating new shelters and shelter beds. In fact, there's one opening today, making sure that we're providing food and clothing for people who come here without it, and then work authorizations to the extent we can provide that and work those folks through the system so they can get jobs. We have jobs available in Illinois. We have companies that have stepped forward and said, we would like those people to come work with us. And so our work is not done. We certainly have more to do. This is not something that we're being warned about as people arrive every day. We don't know how many are coming. We don't know how many buses will arrive. We don't know where they'll arrive. And again, this is a cheap political stunt perpetrated by a governor in Texas who is simply trying to score points for himself and his party. And one other thing, it's his party in Congress that is unwilling to come to the table to actually reach an agreement on comprehensive immigration reform and border security. And the president is at the table and Democrats are at the table. It's the Republicans who seem to be walking away. I hope that they will not. There is a chance over the next week that his party, the Republican governor of Texas' party will do the right thing, but unfortunately, I'm pessimistic, haven't seen them do it as of yet, and think that this will be a good political maneuver in a presidential election year. It won't. People care about people. And the humanitarian crisis that the Texas governor and Republicans are causing is one that we intend to address.
Governor, it's been a week since your administration announced new intake centers will be located at the city's landing zone, along with some more heated tents for people. But people are sleeping in the conditions you were just talking about on buses without running water. How much longer is it going to take to get more adequate shelter set up at that?
Well, again, we work every day with the city of Chicago as they identify locations that we can set up shelters. As I say, one shelter is opening just today, and we're moving more than 200 people, families, and others into it.
Is that the CBS shelter?
It is in Little Village, that's correct. And I actually visited yesterday. It's phenomenal what we've been able to do in a relatively short period of time, and to accommodate very young children. You know, early childhood education is very important to me, making sure these young children have a place that they can play even in a very difficult situation. That's been put into this site. It's well managed, and I think that I feel good about the opportunity there. And again, we're continuing to try to identify, working with the Cardinal and the Catholic Church to make sure that if there are locations that we could take over. And we've put funding forward at the state level to do exactly that. Progress is being made.
The city has sued some of the bus operators that are bringing in migrants.
That's right.
Is there anything that can be done with the plane operators? And is that something that you've requested from the feds? Any sort of help in trying to stop the planes from bringing migrants to Chicago?
We haven't seen any in the last few days, have you? And let's just say everything that we can do, we intend to do and are in the midst of doing.
What can be done, though?
Oh, there's a lot. I mean, and again, I don't want to give away our strategies. You know, we're trying to prevent those companies from leasing their planes to the state of Texas. You can't, in general, you can't tell a group of people or an aircraft that it can't come somewhere. On the other hand, there are lots of things that I think would be a significant deterrent, and they already are working.
Governor, there are a number of pain points associated with this endeavor, and obviously one of those is the financial portion of this. The
Yes.
city just re-upped a $30 million contract with the staffing company, but it's being funded through a state grant. Can you talk about, from the state level, what are your efforts to get more dollars from the feds, and have they heard your calls?
Well, I think you've heard me over and over again express that the federal government needs to step up. In fact, there is a portion of the bill that's being debated in Congress right now over border security and then funding for Ukraine and others that would provide some resources to cities that are inundated now, again, by the governor of Texas, who's taken it upon himself to do this. We haven't seen those dollars yet, not nearly what we should. The federal government needs to do much more. I've said that publicly. I've put a letter, out there with specific ideas that I think they should undertake. Some of those they've done, others they have not. And again, I'm on the phone very regularly, and my administration is with the White House to try to encourage. But remember, Congress has to act. And we have at least one House of Congress that isn't under Democrats' control. And they seem to be absolutely opposed to making progress on this issue. So I'm concerned.
So short of that, are the state and the city just left us with the bill until then?
Yes, and philanthropy. Yeah. I mean, we're doing the best we can with the resources we have.
On a related note, lawmakers return to Springfield next week. Is the supplemental appropriation to deal with the migrant crisis part of your agenda for the spring, and what else?
Or when does that have to go? Does that have to go right away, or is there time?
It does not need to happen right away, but suffice to say, I've brought this up to leaders. They haven't wanted to bring it up yet. I do think it's going to be important for to deal with the costs here that are rising all the time, or at least the toll is rising, and we're all working together to try to meet the demand.
Is there a dollar figure you're looking at?
I'm sorry, say it
Is there
again.
a dollar
Well, $160 million is the amount that we've put forward. Yeah, we want to make sure we're filling all the buckets that we've drawn from in order to make sure we're dealing with the crisis at hand.
So two questions. First of all,
Yeah.
is there going to be beyond that backfill then? Just making sure it's just 160 million, not just, but 160 million and not any additional going forward. And then on another topic, can you please also, happy 2024,
Thank you.
address the gun registration? Now that that is in effect, we don't know how many so-called assault weapons are in Illinois, but it seems as if there are a lot of gun owners very publicly saying, we're not taking part in this. What are you encouraging, if anything, from the state prosecutors to do about that? And do you have any thoughts in terms of compliance or enforcement for folks who maybe missed the deadline, but then do register their guns that it's past January 1?
Let's see. There's a lot in that question. Let me start with calling out the misinformation coming from the other side. 2.4 million FOID card holders does not define the denominator. Not everybody has an assault weapon, and as you saw from the folks who have registered, many people have multiple assault weapons of their own. So each FOID card holder that has registered has had multiple. So my point is that many people already have registered, and we don't know the number of people that have those assault weapons in hand. What we know is that it's going to be vastly fewer than 2.4 million FOID card holders, and I think you've acknowledged and said that yourself. And so we certainly are trying to make it, as easy as possible for people to do that. There are people who missed the deadline who will have the opportunity, and still do. ISP has said that registration is open to people even now. We have rules in place. There will be rules that will be codified, I suppose, once JCAR gets together over the next month, well, a couple weeks, and month after that as well. But I also want to make something very clear. Don't fall for the shiny object that they're trying to get you to pay attention to about registrations. It is illegal and impossible to purchase an assault weapon at a store in the state of Illinois today because of the legislation that we passed. High-capacity magazines are unavailable. Assault weapons are unavailable to be purchased in the state of Illinois as a result of the legislation that we passed. And we'll work through the registration challenges over the next month or two. Yeah.
When I spoke with an organization that's helping the city with the migrants yesterday, they said that there's now quite a few migrants coming from other cities, not just being sent from. So are we shooting ourselves in the foot by continuing to provide resources? Kind of like if we build, if they build it, they'll come. I mean,
every city that's receiving them is providing resources. So it's not that we're doing something that.
Specifically said a lot of these migrants are coming specifically to Chicago.
Sure. Yeah.
Because they have more resources than New York and Denver.
Look, we're providing the absolute basics. No one is living high on the hog, arriving here on a bus, from Venezuela or from another city by way of, starting in Venezuela or other states, countries. They're arriving here and they're getting a meal. They're getting a shelter that is not, we're providing meals every day, but they're getting provided with food, and they're getting provided with the basics. If you've been inside a shelter, this is not living high. And we're doing the basic things just to keep people alive and safe. So there's not, a bunch of, excess spending that's going on in order to provide them with, the best possible accommodations. So if you're suggesting that what we ought to do is reject people from the city of Chicago when they arrive, I think that's absolutely inhumane and wrong. And especially when they have no other place to go. We need to act. That's why we're doing it. If we thought there was some other way to manage this, believe me, the budgets would tell you that, we'd prefer to do that. But whoever's telling you this is misinformed, in my opinion. We certainly know that there are, do you know how many people have gone to New York City and stayed in New York City? Yes, we've received a couple of thousand people who've come from New York to Chicago, but think about literally over 100,000 people that have arrived in New York City that aren't coming to Chicago, and they're, dispersing or staying in the city of New York. We've seen tens of thousands of people arriving in other cities as well. This is not unique to Chicago. I don't think we're attracting people from other cities that, because of the benefits that we're providing. The truth of the matter is that we are doing what we think is the right thing to do to keep people safe and alive, and especially during the very harsh winter that we think can come in the city of Chicago and the cold weather that we know is here. Yeah.
Municipalities have passed ordinances and then they just get dropped off elsewhere. Is there any plan to regulate the road buses on a state level?
So as you know, the laws don't exist in the state of Illinois for us to do that today, right? We can't just impose some rules from the state level on every city, every county, every township. There are certain towns and cities that have the ability to do that and certain that don't. And so, we've been listening to the various mayors and other leaders of those local governments to find out what it is they'd like the state to do. And certainly as the legislature comes back into session over the next week, they're going to be considering, whatever the options are.